In this video, we're going to put our tree onto the building layer, and then we're going to create the Raycaster script. The Raycaster script is going to be one of the main foundations for everything that we do in this series. Let's go back to our tree, and we're going to go to that layer drop down up there in the top right of the inspector, and we're going to add a new layer and call it the building layer. After we add this layer, we're going to make sure that we put the tree onto that layer, because just adding it doesn't automatically put the tree on there. Now it's going to ask you if you want to add the children or just this object. We're adding just this object and that box collider on it. That layer only applies to the collider, and you'll see how we use that later on in this series, but that's going to be important. Now we're ready to create our first script, so make sure that you right click, click create, and then C# script. I'm going to call this the Raycaster. I want to have a good name for every class that I have in this project. Okay, this Raycaster class is just going to cast rays on every frame. So let's double click and open it. I've created this beautiful image to give you an idea of what we're doing with the Raycaster. All we're doing is firing that red ray from the camera, from the middle of the camera, in the direction of the mouse pointer on the screen. And here, as you can see, all we're hitting is that ground plane. Now, using Unity's built-in Raycast functions and the built-in objects in Unity, we're going to gather some very useful information from these Raycasts. We're going to get where it was hit, what layer we hit, if we hit a game object or whatever. We're going to get some very useful information from this Raycaster class. So that's why this class is so important. So let's step in here into the Raycaster class, and we're going to create ourselves a private reference to a camera. This is the camera from which we're going to cast our rays. I'm going to go ahead and call this the main cam, because I'm just going to use the main camera in our scene. I'll initialize that camera to null, and then I'm going to come down to update, and I'm going to use Unity's built-in physics Raycast method. Okay, and all we're going to do is pass a ray from the camera, from the screen point, that is from the middle of the camera, to a position in the game that is going to be our mouse position. So we're firing from where the camera is to the direction of the mouse position. We're going to fire 100 meters, and we're only casting onto the ground layer. So this is going to return true. Physics.raycast is a boolean, and it's going to return true if we hit the ground layer. And all we're going to do is print a message that says that we hit the ground layer. Now let's drag our main camera onto the Raycaster's main cam field in the inspector.